Hey guys, what's going on? Sally D here with you for week 8, and you know the drill. Before we get into week 8, week 7 recap. So unfortunately the lock didn't come through. They failed by 1 point, Tampa Bay and Cleveland. It was very disappointing. It took me a while to get over it. I hate advising a pick and then it not coming through. The Dallas game also, now let's move on to talk about Dallas, the number 2 play. So Dallas was coming back. They had that game in the bag. Everybody was just coming back with momentum. The Washington offense was terrible. I mean, they were just choking left and right. People running out of bounds, stopping the clock for them. The comeback was coming. They get a penalty to tie the game. They move 5 yards back. They shank a field goal right off the post, losing the game. Now let's talk about the good news. Number 1 play, at least, Kansas City. Kansas City has never done me wrong, ever. I took them against Denver. I took Denver against them a couple weeks ago. They were getting 3.5 points, and they ended up covering by 0.5, which was very scary. But Kansas City's never been bad for me. So we're gonna hop into week 8 now. We have the game Houston and Miami. Miami is gonna get blown out. Unfortunately, we can't take Houston. Now we're gonna move on to the game in London. So last week, the Chargers played in London. It looked like Phillip Rivers was sleepwalking, if you watch the game. I know they didn't have Melvin Gordon. Maybe his heart was a little hurt that he didn't have Melvin. I know he gets very emotional in games, and he just didn't have it. And what did the Titans do? The Titans took advantage of it. They're about to tie the game up. No! They go for 2. You know, we're 500. We're in another country. Why not? Let's go for 2. Terrible coaching. They don't get the 2-point conversion. Even if they did, I still didn't like the call. They're not on the road, technically, but that was just a terrible, terrible decision for football. I'm very happy, though, because I did love the under 45. If they did tie it up, there was a chance that it went 20-20, and then a touchdown gives it over 45 to be 46. So thank you to the Titans and the coaching staff. You guys do a horrible job. I could do a better job for you, but hey, you were 500. Moving on. So the game is in London. It's Philadelphia giving Jacksonville 3.5 points. My spread was 6.5 points. I would have loved to given Jacksonville the 3.5, but I can't do it. They play well. Jacksonville plays well in London. They have experience going out there. I'm going to take the under 42. Lock it in. We're going to move on. Cleveland at Pittsburgh. The spread was 7.5. It's now 9.5. I don't really like this game because I think Cleveland has Pittsburgh's number, but they're just on another level right now, Pittsburgh. And they haven't been arguing with each other. I think they're their own worst enemies out there, and they're looking okay. No Lev Bell, but 9.5 we're gonna give to Cleveland and take Pittsburgh. Moving on. Kansas City. Take Kansas City at home against Denver. Give them the 11 points. Kansas City is just on another level right now. They're playing very well. You can't stop them. They're blowing teams out. The hype is real. Take Kansas City. Moving on. The New York Jets at Chicago. These two teams, I'm not buying into either of them. I can't give you a game because I don't really have a good feel of either right now. I have to see the New York Jets again, but I'm pretty sure this is going to be the old New York Jets. They're giving up a lot of points. The offense isn't there, unfortunately, but I'm just not feeling it. So moving on. We're going to talk about Washington after. We're going to talk about Detroit after. So Tampa Bay at Cincinnati. The spread opened at 6.5. It's now 4.5. I love Cincinnati winning by 5. Bounce back week. Jameis throws 2 picks. Take Cincinnati at home -5. Moving on. Baltimore at Carolina. If someone could figure out what Carolina team's going to come out, please tell me, because you have a better chance of playing the Mega Millions than figuring out what this team's going to do. I have no clue what they're going to do because they can't figure themselves out. They had a huge comeback against the Eagles last week. Congratulations for that, but I can't give you either of those teams right now, unfortunately. So we're going to talk about Indianapolis in a little bit. I can't give any advice on the San Fran at Arizona game. Little Josh is questionable, fortunately. We're going to talk about the Rams in a little bit. Now, moving on to the Sunday night special. The New Orleans Saints, who should have lost last week, against Minnesota Vikings in a rematch. The Saints win this game. I don't know why they're the underdog. I guess it's because they're not home. They're still playing in a dome. I know the crowd is going to be crazy, but Drew Brees loves the dome. I love Drew Brees there in the dome. I can't stand Kirk Cousins. He's a terrible quarterback. I don't care that you blew out the Jets. A couple tip passes even ended up in the end zone. You didn't play very well, but that's okay. You had Lat Murray doing most of the work. So I'm going to take Drew Brees in the Sunday night special. They're going to play hyped up. The crowd will be live, but I think Drew is a very experienced quarterback, and it's a very overall well-balanced football team. Moving on to the Monday night game, Mr. Brady. This line just keeps moving. It was 12, 13, 14, now it's 15. Buffalo doesn't even know what they're doing with their quarterback situation. McCoy's still hurt. The team's just a mess. It's in Buffalo on a Monday night. That's why I'm a little bit hesitant to say that New England wins by like 25. But I'm going to say New England wins by 25. Take the points, whatever it is. Tom Brady's going to go out there and just play big league. So now, we're going to talk about the games that I skipped. The number one play that I like, call me crazy, balls to the walls, my New York Giants. I told you they were going to win last week. They fell short. If you took the points, good for you. They played great against Atlanta, in my opinion. They held Matty Iceman down for most of the game. Take the Giants. They have Washington's number. They have Alex Smith's number. Alex Smith is a bad quarterback. He makes bad decisions. We saw that last week. Eli Manning's coming up with a win, and the Giant fans are just going to rejoice at 2-6 that they win the division, and all goes well and they end up in the playoffs. So that'll be the conversation after the Giants win as my number one pick. 2, Indianapolis at Oakland. I'm going back to my garbage themes. Last week we talked about Houston getting 5 points in Jacksonville against Jacksonville. They beat them straight up. It's the garbage theme that I have. Not only are they at home, Oakland, but they're getting points. So that's a double check for Sal DeVito. Check, check. Lock it in, Oakland, +3. They win the game straight up. Now, the lock of the week. Last week, let down. This week, going in hard. We're locking this one in as the biggest lock of the week in history. I've never advised on taking an over this hard in my entire life. It's 56, it should be 66. The Green Bay Packers at my boys, 6-0 undefeated Rams. Will they be defeated? No. If they are defeated, that means Green Bay put up 45 to 50 points, which we'll take. Take the over 56. I know Little Cupcakes isn't playing. He's doubtful. He's probably not going to play. Unfortunate. But the Rams played a very, very, very high-paced offense. I think they don't care how many points they give up because they're just going to go out there with Todd Gurley and just run the ball down your throat. And then if they need to go to Little Goff, they will. The over is 56. It's going to be over 57. Lock it in the book. We're coming with a strong lock for this week. I feel good. Week 8. Lock it up. We'll be back with you week 9. We're going to go right into celebrating the lock of the week next week. Lock it in. Make some money. Let's go. Have a good week, baby.